Maybe cause to I'm gonna give me space. Just leave me.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
So today's episode of the Bbnaija lockdown, it completely reminded me of the last 2 weeks of the lockdown mansion. It reminded me of how Neo and V successfully aced through all the weeks in the lockdown house onto the finals, even though they were quarreling. Hey guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Bbnaija and this is Frankly Speaking with Glory. This is the girl with the T. Yes, and on this episode I will be sharing with you guys the juicy details of the day 57 and day 58 of the Bbnaija lockdown highlights. Of course, today is actually day 17, so they focused on day 57 and day 58. Day 58. You need to watch till the end of this video to get all the juicy details. Now, day 57 started off as a Monday and the house was sort of cold. Dorothy especially was very, very sad because her bestie in the house, that's Prince, had been evicted the previous day, inclusive of Kiddwaya. Kiddwaya made mention of the fact that he had gotten bored as a result of Erica's disqualification. And so Prince, who was very, very, very competitive all through the show, was very, very disappointed that he was actually evicted at that point, at that stage, because dude was almost hopeful that he was getting to the finals. And what really pissed me off again about Prince's eviction rather, was the fact that he did not end up winning the darling hair challenge in the house. Remember, Prince and Tricky T were the two guys in the house that were doing the most when it comes to the hair salon task of every Sunday. So it really, really pained me. I took it really personal when Prince was evicted, hence losing that particular challenge. It completely reminded me of the previous season when Omashola was constantly winning all the arena games, and then at the end of the day, because he did not get to the finals to be on the stage, the winning money of 2 million was actually given to Mike. You know, so that was something similar that happens to Prince, and I felt really, really bad for him. Anyways, guys, moving on, another conversation that happened in the house was between Laycon and Dorothy. And guys, Dorothy has actually confessed a couple of times that a lot of conversations that actually unfold in the house, she misses out on them until sometime later when it comes out into the open. So Laycon had said it a number of times in the house to different people he's had conversations with, that he had a relationship outside the house, but he wasn't sure if he was still in the relationship because he did not inform his girlfriend or his lover, or whatever the person is to him, that he was actually coming for the show. Remember, anybody that has been that got successful to partake in the Bbnaija show, they are not to inform anybody that they were going for the show. I don't know if they're allowed to actually tell their family members anyways. And so that was how Laycon broke the news, or not so news, to Dorothy, and Dorothy was just shouting like, really, you know. So Laycon was just saying that anyways, that for him, he does not know if he still has a relationship, you know, with that person, because he could imagine how the person would feel just seeing him on TV like that without any notice, without any information being shared. Same Monday, the housemates had their diary session, and of course Biggie asked them questions about how they felt about the evictions. People were still shocked, but the most shocking event of that particular day was the twist in the nomination process and even in the head of house games. Now, congratulations as at that time to Nengi, because she emerged the head of house again for that week, and it made her the first female housemate, or the first lockdown housemate even, that became the first head of house and also became the last official head of house, because in the final week because they had, I think, about 5 housemates left, so they took turns spending time in the head of house lounge. But Nengi emerged winner, giving her automatic immunity, you know, from the nominations, and thus a free passage into the finals. And then Biggie split the housemates into 2 groups, and they were supposed to pick some papers, and that was how they went into some crazy deliberations on who should be selected for nominations for possible evictions from the other group. So each group had to do the same thing. Now guys, the interesting thing that happened during that part was that V and Neo were in separate groups. So a lot of people, that thing caused a lot of controversy because people argued a lot that Neo and V manipulated their other team members, blah blah blah. They did not push for each other. Even Ebuka at some point was kind of insinuating that V and Neo actually played a game on Just of the People, and I'm like, okay, anybody who actually watched that part, they would have seen that V and Neo, it wasn't like they actually manipulated the rest of the housemates. Everybody was trying to be strategic, because remember, right from week 1 that the housemates got into that house, they had been very, very sentimental and biased and emotional with their choices of selections for nominations in the diary room. You know, so that was sort of like the final week to nominate someone. Everybody was trying to be strategic, and so it was quite a lucky turn of events that V and Neo were operating from 2 different groups. So luckily for them, both of them were not nominated, and that was how these 2 power couple, these 2 amazing people, they got a free ticket into the finals, even if they did not win. But guys, for me, that was crazy. I was super excited for these 2 people at that point in time. So at the end of that week, Dorothy, Ozo, Lekon, and Tricky T were up for nominations, and we all know how that week ended. Ozo and Tricky T were evicted from the house, and they did not make it to the finals. Coincidentally, when this whole nomination process was going on, V and Neo, in fact, that week they were having a lot of quarrels, ups and downs. And that was the same week that V was telling Neo that she wanted them to split. She wanted Neo to give her space because it was coming to the end of the show, and she wasn't sure about the future of their relationship. She was also telling Neo, as at that time, that she doesn't know if Neo will be able to handle her fame or her popularity when she comes out of the house, likewise her. So they should let things simmer for a bit. When they come out and see how everything is, then they will decide if they should continue with the relationship or break up. So the funny thing was, when both of them realized that they had been able to scale through to the finals, they came back, they kissed and made up. But I love what they said. They said, because these people actually thought that if they had won the head of house, it would have kind of saved them. But it was funny how both of them never won the head of house or even the position of deputy, and they made it to the finals. Guys, that was huge. And I love what V said. She said trust from day 1 to day 70 is what has kept their relationship so far, even if they fought like enemies a lot of times. On day 58 started off with Lekon and V discussing the finals. Everybody was having cold feet because they already knew who was up for possible eviction, and Lekon, who was also up for eviction too, was kind of having a cold feet. But his consolation was the fact that the people that were not nominated, who are actually also close to him, they got through to the finals. And I was just looking at Lekon like, if only this guy knew that he was going to win the show, I'm sure he wouldn't have really bothered himself the way he bothered himself that week, because that week Lekon tried to have as much fun as he could have. He drank a lot because he just needed to have a lot of fun if at all he was going to be evicted. Another interesting thing that happened, guys, was the fact that Ozo was still chasing Nengi up and down in a very ridiculous manner, and it caused the rest of the housemates to stare at him like, is this guy okay, or is there something actually wrong with him? And guys, I'm sorry, but that was just very annoying. Moving away from Ozo's ridiculousness whilst he was in the house, another interesting thing that actually happened was the flutter wave task. The housemates had the flutter wave task, guys. It was very funny and interesting, but fortunately I cannot really remember the details of that flutter wave task, because flutter wave had actually given them the task before, at the earlier stage of the show. So the one that they had much later, even the money they won wasn't really a lot. I think the housemates won, the winning team won 500,000 to be split amongst, you know, the winners in that group. Anyways, guys, those were just the basics that happened for tonight's Bbnaija lockdown highlights. If I forgot anything or if I omitted anything, As usual, guys, I am craving your indulgence to share with me in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Glory. Your girl will soon be back. All right, guys, bye.